Hi, I'm Nina Angelillo, and I am a visual art teacher and instructional coach at Butler Junior High.
And I'm Adam Nicholson. I teach 4th grade, and I'm a reading specialist and instructional coach at Brook Forest Elementary School in Oak Brook. Today we're going to talk to you about a course we designed called Art for Change, and it's meant to be an authentic overlap between literacy and visual arts that allows students to research and explore different concepts through systemic change and then create a studio project based on their research. In our district, the reason why we got to do this was because of the pandemic and everything. Our district came up with an internal professional learning program called Flip the Classroom. And by extension of that, many of the teachers were allowed to design and teach their own summer school courses to largely small class sizes, but it offered us a time to kind of experiment and try some new things. So what you're about to see is a product of that. Structure for the course is 5 studio projects over 12 days broken into 2-day segments. The first day of each cycle introduces a type of systemic change, and the whole day is structured around reading, research, discussion, and writing, followed by a share out.
For the Art Studio Day portion of class, they'll be introduced to a medium, a demonstration, a featured guest artist that will talk about their process and how they're connected to that medium in some way, shape, or form, as well as a discussion with that artist and within the class. They'll then plan their project and confer with, like I said, those experts in the field that will pop into our Zoom chats, and then we'll give them studio time with those experts to really troubleshoot their project ideas and work collaboratively together, followed by a share out where they will present their project. Here is a lesson plan sample that we used for our summer course. As you can see, it starts to kind of outline each of our research days and our studio days. We like to use words such as, read, share out, in bolded text so that the students are used to that routine as they see each day looking at each of the slides.
To start off each cycle of projects, we begin with a reading day where there's a series of posted articles, videos, resources that the students interact with. They do some writing with that, and they do some collaboration on Flipgrid and Jamboard, and there's lots of discussion. But each specific day of change is introduced with an anchor chart like the 2 you see here. And we researched some background on different types of organizational change and systemic change. So each chart is structured with a definition of the type of change, followed by an example. And then at the base of each one, there's a link to a Jamboard for the kids to continue the discussion outside of that chart.
Shown here are media map samples that correspond with the types of change that were investigated on our reading days. You'll see that with these types of changes, I've linked different artist examples to correspond with those changes. On the right-hand side are different types of media maps for photography, graphic design, sculpture, and mixed media. We would show this to students on our art studio days as supplemental resources to help them craft their projects. As an extension of their identity, especially through this virtual class, we had students design their own portfolio covers, which were used to store their art projects and research. Listed here are myself and Adam's covers. We had the students really work on personalizing their covers at the beginning of class.
So Nina mentioned the portfolio covers and how it contributes to students' sense of identity. The writing piece itself does the same because it allows them to connect the resources and type of change that we're focusing on to areas of interest that they want to research and study. And with all of the other examples you'll see moving forward, Nina and I are modeling for them throughout the process so that our portfolios are always like one day ahead of theirs so that they always have a reference to look at. These two both are journal prompts from 2 different reading days. And you can see there's linked resources in there. So we talked to the kids a bit about citing sources and really connecting the research to their thought process by then extending it into their art project. What you're looking at here is the conferring rubric that we used in between the reading and studio days. This is the thing that kind of bridged the gap between the 2 subjects and created a truly cross-curricular experience. The conferring is modeled kind of after a reading workshop style, so it's one-on-one student-teacher. We used breakout rooms, and most conferences were about 10 minutes long, in which the students, we reviewed their writing, went over some of the assignments just to make sure they checked all their boxes with the collaborative work and discussion stuff. And then after 1 or 2 of these, we shifted to it being student-led, where they would come in with sort of a to-do list and what they needed us for. And by the end of the course, it was highly student fueled when we did these conferences, and these contribute greatly to the success of their studio projects because it, again, bridges the gap between the literacy portion of our course and the artistic part.
What you see here are examples of what a completed project in a student portfolio would look like, seeing mine and Adam's right here. You'll also see at the bottom we have included artist statements that really go ahead and encapsulate the entire process, citing our artist references, our research, and kind of just really bringing together both of those studio and reading days in one with that statement. You'll see that we have these formatted in a way that was shareable. And during our share out towards the end of those studio days, we would have our students share their screen with us and present their projects and statements.
So we've been showing you artifacts from our portfolios just to protect student privacy and stuff, but here's one full project starting with the writing, planning, and execution of the studio work that this particular student did. And this was a student whose parents had told us going into the class that he's a reluctant artist. Like, he didn't like creating things. He had no interest in it. But he chose to take the class anyway because out of the summer options, it was the one that kind of jumped out to them. So his writing connected to a project that he completed the year before in school about global warming and climate change. And that linked in with the specific type of change we were talking about that day, which was anticipatory change, or making decisions to change things ahead of the time that the problems actually happen. So his writing led to this project planning doc where he wanted to take all these different types of recycled materials to use as his medium. And he referenced an artist. He went through his process, took a few progress photos. He even did, without being prompted, he made a kind of a sculpture planning page where he listed out his steps and kind of wrote down what he needed. So again, process over product. And then lastly, his final product here with an artist statement is one of the ones that Nina and I were most proud of in this course because, again, the student was not someone that really wanted to do the work, and they managed to pull together this project and impress us all. So the power of connecting literacy and art really shows in this example. So we hope you guys learn from that, and obviously if you have questions, you can come find us.
Art for Change concluded with a student-led exhibition. As you can see below, each student created their own virtual gallery where they linked and posted pictures of each of their works in their frames. We also linked our resources, including, as you can see here, our digital resource library, our media maps created on Canva, our collaborative charts that we use throughout the course, as well as a tutorial of how to interact with the gallery. We also had all of our professional artists that were able to stop by and Zoom with us linked on the slide that we provided for parents and guests of our students who participated in our class so that they were able to kind of see their work as well. This was a really great opportunity to have students, parents, guardians, some of our administration popped in as well to really just see all of the hard work that we had been doing throughout this course, and the students were really proud to share all of their accomplishments.
Thanks for listening to our presentation about Art for Change. We love talking to people about these ideas and building on other collaborative opportunities, so if anyone's interested in contacting us to talk about ideas or do any form of collaboration, please reach out to us through the posted contact info.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. A special shout out to the Mizzou Art Education Program. We are very grateful for this opportunity to present our summer coursework. We look forward to this summer where Adam and I will be presenting Art for Change again, as well as 2 other virtual summer courses, Music and Everything and Story Sculpting.